I thought I'd go ahead and finish up the series since there's a whole bunch of little things that I haven't covered yet. The only thing that I did cover was torquing down the head and setting the timing on this, but I didn't talk about anything about the valve cover or the oil lines or this oil line that goes to the tank, which I don't actually have on there right now, and valve adjustment, carburetors, and airbox, plastic, stuff like that. I haven't talked about that yet, so I'm going to go ahead and do another 2 videos on all the little things about that. So starting off, if you haven't already, since you should already have your valve cover on, all of these bolts torqued down to 7.2 pounds. What you should do first before anything is take off your tappet covers and set your valve clearance. Because anytime that you take this head off of here, these valve clearances are not going to be the same. Especially since whenever you're tightening this head down, it's going to just be pushing on this with some random bolt tightness here, and it's not going to be the same clearance as before. So you want to check your intake valves and your exhaust valves, and I'll also have a video on this if you need to watch it. Just to make it easier, the first thing that I'm going to install before I put the exhaust on or anything like that is the oil line that connects from the bottom of the engine to the top of the valve cover. It takes these little banjo bolts here. Now these are the old copper O-rings that were on it. I'm going to go ahead and replace all 4 of these. There's one that sits right up against the top of the head there, and then once the line's on there, you have one below it. So I'm going to replace all 4 of these on both of the bolts here. So the size that you need on here, you can order an OEM one if you want to, but I got this little kit at Harbor Freight, and it comes with the exact size that you need. Brand new washers on there from the Harbor Freight kit, and like I said, you want to put one washer below the line and one above it. That's the same way for both of them. Next up, I'm going to go ahead and install the exhaust while it's convenient to get to. So first thing that you need to do is get the gaskets that are for the exhaust, which look like this here. And you want to make sure that you have all of this cleaned up. Yes, I don't have that stud right there, but you need to clean up the exhaust ports and stick these up in here. I know that sometimes these can be a pain to sit up in there, so what you can do is you can put like a fine layer of oil on these and it'll help stick up in there, or even like grease. Just make sure it's a very fine layer and it'll make it stay up in there so you can get both pipes in there without knocking these out, because I know that they can be really obnoxious. Trying to get the exhaust in there, what we had to do was loosen up that clamp that's right there by his fingers, and then once we got that loosened up, what you want to do is get the pipes where they should normally be at. So you want to put the small pipe actually inside the long one here. So you want to stick it inside its hole and then line both of these up. You don't want to push this one all the way in because you want to have a little bit of maneuverability. But once you stick these in here, both of them should just sit in there very easily, and you should have just a little bit of room to start both bolts on both sides here. So obviously this is not an OEM bolt here. I just have a washer and a nut on there. So I've got both of them just started on this one. We're getting that one down. So what you want to do, whenever you get these about as hand tight as they'll go, what you want to do is whatever you do to one, you want to do to the other. You want to sit here and just evenly put pressure on both of these so these gaskets do not leak. Alright, so we got both of the pipes connected up to the exhaust ports. So next thing that we're going to be doing is putting the slip-on on, which the slip-on really doesn't fit this all too well. So you don't want to put any like gasket surface or anything like that around where the clamp is going to go, which will be right there. You just got to tighten that clamp down and hope for the best. And all I have is just one bolt that sits right up here at the top. But we want to go ahead and get that top hose there. Comes from the thermostat down to the top of your cylinder head. Make sure you put that on, put it real tight. We also just now put on the lower hose there that goes from the water pump to the jug. Don't forget about that as well. Alright, since we got almost everything done for the top here, just to make it a little bit easier, go ahead and get your oil line connected here that goes to the tank. Slides on real easy like that. And if I were you, I would go ahead and put your spark plug in before you put this top engine mount in here. It will make your life that much easier. Spark plug torqued down to 13 foot-pounds. And now on to the engine mount. So clearly, you want to make sure that whenever you're putting this on here, that the actual part where it connects to the engine should be facing backwards. But the manual does state a couple of torque specs for this. All I recommend is just kind of ram this stuff home about as tight as you can. With the engine mount now installed, everything severely tightened down because you don't want this stuff moving up top or shaking anything. Now it's on to the carburetors, which seems to be a hard part for some people, but I'm going to be stepping through everything that I do for this because I've done this at least 100 times now because these carburetors have caused me so many problems. First thing I'm going to do, since these carburetors have been sitting for about a month, even though they've been inside of a paper towel, there can be some debris inside there. So I'm going to spray some carb cleaner into these plates here and through the back of it as well, hopefully to clean it out just a little bit before I try to install it, because you never want to have dirt inside your carburetor. All right, first step that you want to do, you're going to make sure that you have these clamps on here about as loose as they'll go. I actually have this one on backwards because I must have knocked it off. But I find the easiest way for these clamps to be facing each other, so the end of the bolt's going to head out this way along with this one here. So they're both just going to head towards each other. I find this the easiest way to get to, because you can just hit this one from this angle, and obviously from the other side it'll be pretty easy to hit it from that angle too. You want to make sure that you've got your throttle cable and your choke cable ready to hook up whenever you get the carburetors in there. Now it should be a pretty snug fit with these clamps even loosened all the way up. It should be a pretty snug fit when you're trying to push these on there. Should use a little bit of force. If not, your boots might be getting a little bit worn out. But after you push those in there, it might have a little bit of resistance to it. Sometimes you actually have to hold the carburetors on the rear side of it while you tighten those clamps down. But mine, they seem to fit in there just right. So you want to make sure that you check underneath it and on both sides of it to ensure that both carburetors are fully inside the boot and won't move anymore. Also, rule of thumb, whenever you're tightening these down, you should have a little brass fitting that's on the inside here. That's to stop you from over tightening these. You really should start getting it pretty tight before you reach that brass piece in there. So mine, obviously, I've got a little bit of gap in there, so mine's not touching on either of them. That one kind of looks like it does because of the lighting, but it's got a little bit of a gap in there. But that's about as tight as I want mine to go, because it's holding her pretty steady on there. She's not moving anywhere. So make sure that whenever you're tightening this down, this should not be touching the brass piece. Now I'm going to go ahead and get the throttle connected back up. So don't mind how crappy mine looks here. All you got to do is fish it into this hole here, which is kind of hard to do with one hand. And go ahead and tighten her down all the way that she'll go. Now this part may be a little bit tricky for some people. It definitely was when I first tried it. You want to get that little brass piece that I said that you should keep in safe hands so you don't lose it. What you want to do is stick the ball tip into the circle here, and then you just want to turn it sideways. So whenever you get it turned sideways in there, you can kind of stick this little brass piece in there just a little bit. Obviously the cable is going to prevent it from sliding out in there. All you got to do is just lift the throttle up just a little bit, apply a little bit of pressure to the line up here, and everything will just snap into place. I would record this, but I'm the only one out here, and it's kind of hard to do whenever you have one hand. Slide her in there just like that. And then, like I said, stick it halfway in that hole. Halfway in the hole there. So what I'm going to do, I doubt I can do this with one hand. I'm probably going to have to use both my hands. I'm just going to apply pressure to this, open the throttle just a little bit, and start pushing this cable here up along here, and then it's going to snap into place. Snapped into place just like I said. If you want to go ahead and check it, press your throttle up above, make sure it opens all the way without kinking up. The choke cable can be a little bit of a pain, especially if you have a rounded off nut here. I've actually had to replace this because it was rounded off. But also, sometimes whenever you're sticking it in the hole, sometimes it just won't go in. So the best thing that I've found to help this out is actually just getting a little bit of gas, putting it on that little O-ring there, and it should slide right in. I've never had any issue after using gas with it, but I wouldn't use any other kind of lubricant on it other than gas, because that's the only thing that should be touching this. All you gotta do is slide the first tip in there. Should slide in pretty easy. And then once you get that lined up in there, this little rubber nut that's on here, you really got to be careful with it, because these threads are very fragile. For one, they can easily strip, but also when you're using a wrench on it, they round off so easily. So you got to be really careful with it. And whenever you're tightening it down using a wrench, you want to be extra careful that you do not over tighten it. 12 millimeter on it, just slowly tightening it down. Make sure I'm not rounding it off, and making sure I just barely put any pressure on this wrench as I'm tightening it down. And see, it's pretty much tight there. I'm just using one thumb here, just barely pushing her. And she's starting to get tight. That's all the tight that she needs to go. Go ahead and move the choke cable too. Make sure she doesn't bind up. The next step is going to be installing these air ducts on here. I can tell you it definitely helps whenever you have somebody else to push on the air box for you when you're trying to get these on, but I don't have anybody right now, so I'll just show you how I do it. But what you want to do is make sure that you have all these clamps loosened up quite a bit like this one is. I obviously need to go find the screw for that one, and all along with the other one too. But if you look on here, should have a R and an L stamped on it, let you know that it's for the left carburetor and for the right carburetor, obviously. And first thing you want to do is make sure that you hook it on to the carburetor first, not the air box. But you want to make sure that the air box is pushed all the way back. Obviously, it won't come out of there because you got these plastic tabs here. You can't push her that far back, but you also can't get the air box out of there unless you take the back plastics off. So if I were you, just move the cables out of the way that you can, push it back as far as you can, just like that. So it looks like you can get it up out of there, but it's literally just that little tab just prevents you from doing that. So what you want to do is just make sure you have it pushed all the way back, and then you can easily get these ducts in there and not have an issue. And then after we get the ducts in there, all you're going to have to do is push the air box forward again to hook on the back of these ducts. I'm going to start with the right-handed side duct here. So obviously I've got my clamps loosened up quite a good ways. And whenever I put these on here, especially for whatever side they're on, that's the side that I try to put the clamp on. So whenever I put it on the right-hand carburetor, the clamp's going to be on the right-hand side, so it'll be a lot easier to get to. I'm just going to slide her up under here. So first, it's actually like you want to put it on the air box. You just want to put it in that area so you can push this down far enough to get it over here. Don't know how well my phone's going to pick that up from that angle, but I have the duct connected to the air box just so I can have it down a little bit. I'm going to disconnect it just so I can slide it forward onto the carburetor. So I don't have it on the air box no more. And I'm just sliding it onto the carburetor, making sure that my clamp is on that side. So I typically start with the bottom first, and then I squeeze the duct just a little bit to expand it, shove her up on. Just like that. I'm checking the sides of it to make sure that everything is lined up where it needs to be. So after checking this side of it and underneath it, and on the other side, everything's all pushed in where it needs to be. So I'm just going to get this hose out of the way first. And I'm going to tighten down the clamp on the side where I said it was going to be. Just like I said, make sure that you got this pushed all the way in here. Just like that. Pushed all the way up her flush. Now, regardless of if it seems like it's going to stay in place or not, every time I tighten any of these ducts down, I want to put a little bit of pressure on it, always, just to make sure that it's completely flush with it as I'm tightening it down. Got both ducts in there now. Same rule applies for these clamps too. They've got the little brass piece on the inside of it. Make sure that you don't have the clamp touching either brass piece on either duct. And this is where the hard part comes in, especially if you're by yourself. Trying to get these ducts to line up on the air box here. So, best case scenario for this is just to be able to put your fingers up in here, line it up a little bit while pushing forward, and then they push in, and after you get them to stick on there, you just take your hand back here, make sure that they're all the way pushed in, all the way around. But half the time whenever you're doing this, it folds up the bottom of the duct, so you just have to reach in here and see if you can push it out so it'll actually line up all the way around the hole. Like I'm saying, sometimes it's very, very difficult trying to get this by yourself. But if you have someone else to help you, you can have both your hands on here just to line it up with this while somebody's pushing behind you. But if you're all by yourself, the best thing that you can do is just stick your fingers in here and just try to shove at the same time. So I can't record this, so I'm going to be using my other hand to help line both of them up like this, while I have my other hand pushing on this and trying to line up the top of it while pushing at the same time. Alright, surprisingly enough, mine actually went in fairly easy just by me lining up one side, pushing it a little bit, disconnected on, and then the other side just slid right on just as well, mainly because I had these clamps open as much as I can. I did have one of my clamps there, as you see, it's underneath where this overhangs here, so I can't get that to come up anymore. So as long as I can get a screwdriver in there to tighten it down, I'm not going to worry about it. The other one obviously stayed up here, so I can easily get to it. But what you want to check for, you can't really tell, especially on this side. As you can see, I've got all kinds of wires here. But on the other side here, you can kind of see where the ducts are on here. You just want to make sure that you do not have it crimped up down here at the bottom, or that you have a space in between the air box and where this clamp is. You want to make sure that it is about as solid as you can get, because you're going to have an air leak there, and say if you hit a water puddle or something like that, it'll easily suck it right up in there. So you want to make sure that these are about as flush as you can get them to go, along with you want to make sure that these clamps are really tight too. So just something to keep in mind. Alright, everything tightened down. Everything feels good on the inside here. You can just take your finger in here and make sure that there's no gap in there. You're obviously going to tell the difference between the plastic and the rubber duct, but make sure that there's no hole in there. Everything seems pretty sealed off to me. I've also got these tightened down quite a bit, as you can see there. So I guess the last thing that I'm going to be showing is just air filter and putting the air box together and stuff like that. Obviously this seems a little short because I actually did cut some of this off of here so I could use it for a fuel line a while back. But I honestly don't even know where the actual place is for this hose. I've just been sticking it inside the air duct so water can't get to it, because obviously this is supposed to be the breather for your carburetors. So if somebody can tell me actually where this is supposed to go, that would be convenient. Like I said, I've just been sticking mine inside the duct. When it comes up through here, I just slide it on into it. For anyone wondering, the fat lip of this white piece here needs to be sticking upwards. Obviously, the bottom side is not going to tell you too much here. It just says outside on it. But the biggest white lip here is what goes on top. You just slide her down in here. And it's not going to click or anything in place. It just stays in place like that. And then once you put your air box cover on, it'll actually hold it in place and seal it off for you. I'm just going to press down a little bit. There we go. Everything's in place. And all that's next is just air box cover. I know someone's going to complain that this is dirty, but also the person that had it before me used to race this four-wheeler, and obviously they jetted it and all that other stuff, so they did put holes on top of it. That's why I've got duct tape on mine. So just want to make sure that your slots are cleared out here. I've got a little bit of stuff in mine that I'm going to clean out, but that's just supposed to help protect your airbox from not getting any water or debris inside of it. So you just want to clean out the little slots a little bit and then put it back on. Don't forget your PVC valve here. Make sure you just plug that on in there. Mine's a little rough actually, so it doesn't fit in there too well, but also doesn't seal off very well. So typically I put seal on the outside of mine, make sure water doesn't get caught up in there. And the last piece that I typically almost always forget is a snorkel piece. All you gotta do is just slide it right up on here like that. I don't have the screws that fit in the side anymore, so I just use zip ties, but mainly since I take this off so much because I've been tuning the carburetor, zip ties have honestly been a lot more convenient for this. What you want to do is just make sure that it snug fits on the front of the carburetor there, and that'll be it. Alright, so that shows you how to do the exhaust, all the carburetors, the duct work, all of this stuff to basically up until where you're going to be having to put the gas tank on and the fenders on. So I'll be showing that in the next video. So hopefully if you guys have any questions before I post that video, you can ask them. I can like show it to you, or if you think I missed a step or you want me to go over something, just let me know in the comments. So that wraps up this video. So if you guys would like more content like this, please subscribe.